Can humans be immortal? The answer is no. Can we live after death? No. Many people have searched for the secret of living forever for centuries, but it seems like we've been beaten to it by the animals, to an extent at least. So in this video, we're gonna show you top 10 animals that can live after death, so make sure to stick around till the end. Number 10. Frogs. I know you're smiling by now because you know this one and probably might have seen it severally. The truth is that frogs made to the list, and it has been discovered that frogs continue to move around even when they're brain dead, or to put it more accurately, with its brain missing. According to a report by neurologist David Ferrariel, in 19th century, a headed but brainless frog actually behaves very similarly to a frog, with its brain matter perfectly intact, and if you turn the frog upside down, it'll rise itself back up. Number 9. Bees. Don't get it twisted because bees do die after all. Seriously, bees die and they stay dead. However, from a well-thought-out research, there's a reason why they appear on this list, because even though a bee might be dead, it can still sting you. Are you surprised? Well, it might not really be the way you think, of course. Dead bees obviously won't go flying around and actively sting you. The important thing here is that their venom delivery system will still work even if the bee is long dead. Number 8. Salamanders. Surprisingly, many people may not be familiar with this creature, but if you come up with a list of animals that stubbornly continues to live, you'll be hard-pressed not to include the salamander. Interestingly, also, this animal has also been synonymous to long life and immortality. It's even been reviewed by people who believe in magic. The amazing ability for it to regenerate its body part is considered paranormal. More so, salamanders is said to have the uncanny ability to regenerate any part of its body that has been chopped off. More amazingly, these regrown parts actually function the same as, or in some cases, even better than the original parts. Number 7. Snakes. This one is quite common too because we've seen it several times, but some people don't really know that chopping these things heads off may seem like a peaceful way to avoid being bitten, but the truth is that may not be the case. It may interest you to know that a snake's head, a vessel for its fangs and deadly poisons, sacs, still has the ability to bite you and deliver deadly venom even if it's no longer attached with the rest of its body. Report has it that snakes detect heat signature with its head, and if you're close enough to the head of the snake that has been cut off, it can still sting you and deliver deadly venoms that can kill you. Don't feel like a superhuman after killing a snake and try to play with it even after chopping off its head. They are said to have heat-sensitive pits, which is capable of detecting threats for hours even after its death, which means the snake can defend itself even in death. Yes, you heard me. This applies to if the body is no longer attached. Number 6. Flatworms. If you're familiar with earthworms, you agree with me on this one. It's said that if you can cut an earthworm in half, 2 earthworms will be reproduced. This might not be true, but if you compare that theory with the flatworm, well, the results might be really disturbing. According to a research, flatworms are masters of regeneration. They can rebuild any part of their bodies after amputation. If one is cut in half, then the head portion grows a tail and the tail portion grows a head. Cut it into 20 places and 20 new worms are created as a perfect replica of the original. Number 5. Cockroaches. It shouldn't come as a surprise that these tiny little bugs would make it to this list. The interesting thing from research is that cockroaches are infamous for their tenacity and are often cited as the most likely to survive in any condition. Well, surprise, surprise, they can live without their heads. In fact, they can go on living for weeks. However, unlike humans that bleed, and when a man's head comes off, cockroaches doesn't have that problem though. They're said to have an open circulatory system, which translates to little to no blood pressure. So if their head's lopped off, the wound just closes naturally due to clotting. Second, and obviously, humans' heads hold quite a bit important part of our body, our brain, and without it, humans will not function. Eating, drinking, and breathing are all impossible without the head. Cockroaches, on the other hand, don't need their heads to breathe, as they do this process through little holes located on their bodies called spiracles. Although a headless cockroach will die of starvation eventually, it'll take weeks for them to do so. Number 4. Turtles. Turtle is another animal that can survive without their heads, according to a research report which revealed that these animals can dive for a very long time. How long? Well, try 5,000 hours in the case of the loggerhead sea turtle. Yeah, you heard that right. Despite that death, they survive that long by on what oxygen they can take from the water through their skin, throat, and so on, as well as their body has amazing potential for producing energy without oxygen. Amazingly, their hearts has their own fuel sac, and they won't give up until their last fuel sac has been used up. Number 3. The octopus. I'm aware that it's not everyone that's seen this creature before, as some people unheard or seen it on their TV. Perhaps some you've seen videos online where an octopus, after being chopped up, continues to move. As a matter of fact, in certain Asian countries, eating fresh octopus is a deadly delicacy. It's not really the octopus that survive, but after being chopped up, but rather their 8 wily arms that continue to move about. And it's these 8 arms, according to a research, that usually get stuck in someone's throat, resulting into a very bad day. However, it may interest you to know that why octopus's arms maintain mobility after being chopped off is quite fascinating. From a research, it's because their central nervous system is quite unique. Most of an octopus's nerve cells, 2/3 of them, can be found not in the brain where you would expect them to be, but rather in its tentacles. Be that as it may, these arms can continue reacting to stimuli even after they're no longer connected to the main brain. They remain responsive even after the octopus has been long dead and the arms are severed. Number 2. Chickens. If you're a true Nigerian, you'd know how this thing works, especially during Christmas time. This is the period chickens are killed most, and if you have killed one before like me, you'd understand better than "aji butter pickin'." There's a popular expression, running around like a headless chicken. Yeah, ask any farmer and they'll tell you chickens can still run around with their heads cut off. And there's a very simple reason for this, and it's not because chickens are zombies. However, the most interesting fact here is that a chicken's central nervous system is very different from us humans. Some basic bodily functions are controlled not by the brain itself, but by certain parts of the brainstem. This means that even when the chicken's head is chopped off, most of the time it's just the forebrain of the chicken that comes off with its head, leaving the brainstem and the cerebellum quite intact. Of course, it'll eventually starve to death, but there's one special case that a chicken survived 18 whole months without its head. Number 1. Flies. This one is quite common everywhere in our environment, and if you can, experiment with it by yourself. I've tried it, and it's amazing to know that this thing can still survive without its head. Interesting thing is that flies can survive freezing temperature and go into some kind of animation. This amazing ability to survive freezing temperatures is not why the humble fly makes it to this list. However, the female flies will live for several days after they've been decapitated, and they can do and engage in reflex actions such as flying and under duress, walking. That's right, chop off a female fly's head and not much changes really. That's quite funny, but contains facts. Let us know your opinion in the comment section below. This was all for today. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell icon for more updates and notifications. Stay safe, and we'll be back soon with another video.